Hey, what's up guys? My name is Jack Tactical and today we're going over the Magic Square Doomsday, which is basically just G1 Megatron, and he turns into a gun mode. He turns into the Walther P38. Got a little keychain right here to signify what he's going to look like near the end. And it's probably on the thumbnail, depending on the thumbnail this auto generates. This figure I saw on Magic Square. I did not realize it was so small, but that is not an issue by any means. It does really well overall with everything it does. Besides one major issue I have, which we'll talk about later in the video, I am recording this video practically in reverse, so you might hear me double up on a few things. When editing, I'm going to try to cut them out, but there's odds are a good part where it's going to look really awkward for a cut, and I really don't want to make it look like that. So if I end up repeating myself a couple times in this video, it'll be okay. We're getting it done, we're getting it completed. Let's talk about the figure. So obviously right here is his robot mode. The robot mode is very well articulated, got a swivel on his head, looks up and down. Really far, actually, surprisingly for it. Got an ab crunch, mainly for the transformation. It has the ability to have full rotation at both arms. You might clip a little bit on his gun barrel back here, but that's okay. The legs spread pretty far as well, basically complete splits. The flaps on his side do go up. The front waist skirt does not. It kicks out. Well, here I got the ab crunch. Hold them like this, the leg goes about that far, extend the skirt, goes all the way up, and it goes about back. Again, gotta mess with the skirts, goes out that far as well. Flap that back down. You can even swivel the chest to some degree. Oh no, never mind, I'm identifying the waist swivel here. Waist swivel, all the way around. Again, also for the transformation to some degree. There's a lot of twists and turns on this figure. The arms rotate here. The hands rotate. Fingers do not individually articulate, nor any at all. That's okay though. The gun barrel actually has a bit of articulation as well. Back and forth, but again, that's for transformation, so I'm not going to consider or count that. The legs have multiple points of articulation, mainly for transformation. The ball joint holder actually rotates around the ball joint holder, the thigh does. Then there's one at the right above the knee, and the knee opens and closes that far. Then the ankles, we have no ankle pivot, but we do have individual articulated right here. Goes down and up. So, now that we got the articulation out of the way, let's talk about the pros and cons. The pros, this looks like a very, very accurate G1 Megatron. Little to no, how do I word this? I guess I'll just say the word inaccuracy. I really like how everything holds together. Everything is very solid through here. The plastic used for this, I think the word is PVC, but it's very rubbery of a plastic. I don't know what kind it is. It helps with the transformation, because I'm telling you, you're going to feel like this thing's about to snap on a few different places where you go through it. But that's okay, though. It works out. The only downside I can say about robot mode, if everything plugs in properly, I'm telling you, all it is that trigger placement. It looks like a tail. To me, it looks like a tail. I can't get it out of my head. I don't know why. But other than that, if you can look past that, I mean, it's got to go somewhere, and it's better than what the G1 toy did. But if you can look past that, it looks like a pretty good robot mode. Something really neat, with my copy being just the 2024 version, did not come with accessories, but if you do have one that comes with accessories, if you pop the front off here, I've done it before accidentally in the transformation. It's actually not too easy to do. Here, I'll go in through. I'll kind of give you a fast forward of what it might look like. Oh, come on. Here, I'll cut to when I get it. Alright, there, I got it. So let's talk about that. Something I'm going to recommend with this figure is that I would honestly say get a part separator if you can. Like the ones LEGO has for their builds. But what this is for, and the whole reason I'm showing you this, is because it comes with a damaged chest piece if you have a version with that accessory. I do not, but I wanted to show that that does come off for the sake of the figure. The only other two things that come off for robot mode is, or no, there's three, is the barrel piece for the gun. That'll be for the extended barrel later. Gonna put that back on for now. And the fusion cannon, which you rotate and then lift up. There's a little locking mechanism there that goes in there. And last but not least, I highly recommend you be in an area that you can very easily find the small part that comes off when you do this. Is you can take off the head. So you just lift the bottom of the chin up and pull out. Now, it didn't do it that time, but I've got the head off, and he comes with, again, I don't know if I showed it yet in the video because this is being recorded backwards, and a screaming face, angry, and a very happy face. This little red dot right here are those are his eyes. Those do not, for any reason, stay in the figure. They're not in the head, they're clear on the eyes. That can come out. And if it does come out, make sure you install it perfectly where they're angled towards the nose. I did this above a sink, a bathroom sink specifically, because I needed tweezers to try to get it out after I put them in upside down, and they almost went down the drain. They did not, luckily, but I'm just saying, please make sure if this happens to fall out, be very careful. I'm going to put his face back on to show how easy it is to do so. I'm not putting the other faces on because, again, I've been traumatized about those eyes, and I never plan on using the other faces, but it's nice to know that there's an option for it. The arm actually stays locked pretty well, just sometimes they really don't want to, but you can barely even notice it, if at all, when I get the cannon mode back on. So there we go. We're going to show off his other accessories real quick while he's in robot mode, because they're slightly relevant even in robot mode. So, if we take a look at the back of the figure, this is going to look very weird, but trust me, there's a reason for this. We adjust everything here, you'll see a small port right here. Jokes can be made in the comments about where that port is, it's fine. The figure stand though, or sorry, the gun, oh, hold on. Alright, so the gun stock actually has a little tiny tab here that you can pull down, stick it in the hole, go up, stick it in the hole. Okay, he does not want to cooperate. It's actually kind of hard to tab in a few things in this, but it's not the end of the world. Again, it's just the type of plastic it is, I believe. And here you have a stand for the figure. It comes built in, and this actually gets separated. So you have a built-in stand for the figure, and you can get him in a bunch of cool poses. Or just have him do that. You can put him on a cross, or T-pose, depending on how you want to do it. So now we're going to get him down, because that is only one small thing about it, but I think it's nice to know that there's a lot of inclusivity with the figure's compatibility about parts. Take the stock off, or not the stock, the fusion cannon / scope off. Flip the stock down, because there's actually another reason the stock has the capability of doing that. If we piece together the long barrel, give me one moment, the instruction details all of what I'm about to do, by the way. If I'm going too fast for you, when you get the figure, it will show it. Oh, hold on. Let me take it off camera because I got to find out where to line up the hole on here. I don't recommend taking this apart if you don't have to. There's practically no reason besides this part right here for a part I'm going to show you later in the video. Put that back on, and you'll see right here there's a hole. That is the same hole that plugs into his arm for the fusion cannon. If you put it in like this, hold on. If you put it in like so, you now have this. You might be saying, well, why would you want that? I'm going to show you. If you come to the back here of this, you'll see a little mount rail right here. You slide that into, if I'm going at the right angle, doesn't look like it is angled. If you can find a way to slide that into there, you now have his turret mode for the gun barrel and stock. It is very top heavy, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get, oh, there we go. And now he can sit there and wield it in robot mode. I believe the G1 toy had this integration as well, so this makes this thing incredibly fun to mess around with. Now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and show off size comparisons real quick. I'm going to go and put the fusion cannon back on his arm as well as dismount the turret mode. Oh, I just noticed something while doing that. The back of the fusion cannon can come off. Not broken. It just slides on just like the rest of the figure. Don't know why. Probably a part of the ring, or a part of the thing with the other accessories. Set that right here. Put the gun mode parts to the side over here. Now we're going to do some size comparisons just for the robot mode, as there's not really anything to accurately show for the gun mode. Or so we think. We'll see later. Put this here. Plug that in there. Alright. So we have two things to size compare. Number one is another Megatron, about the same size, actually a little bit bigger. If you run down to your local dollar store, odds are you will see one of these, an Authentics Megatron. This one turns into a tank, of course, and is slightly bigger by the head. I don't know if the gun barrel puts him taller. Megatron has fallen. Starscream is now the leader. Okay, let's fix that real quick. It actually looks like the gun barrel puts him just a head taller, but that's okay. Set him to the side over here to put something else in the middle. This is now making me, I wish I bought the Optimus version of this, but here's the Jinbao Nemesis Prime going next to the Megatron. Slightly bigger, but another third-party company to show that they kind of actually fit in size comparison really well. Again, back-to-back comparison, since my camera's at an angle, the Nemesis Prime. Oh my goodness, never mind. The gun barrel is slightly taller than Jinbao Nemesis Prime. But barely, like not even like... Okay, so that kind of puts them in the same scale in my opinion. I don't know. But if you're looking for an Optimus to scale with this, if you don't just go Magic Square for it, for the smaller version, get a Jinbao one, it seems. They'd be pretty accurate in size comparison. Alright. Alright, so as I mentioned, this recording is going to be a little bit out of order of how I'm going about it, so I'm actually going to stop right in here. I'm currently trying to transform it from gun mode back to Megatron mode, and I'm going to highlight the absolute worst thing about this figure. Now, again, great figure overall. I'm going to have nothing else probably but good to say about this, besides occasionally the locking in mechanism's not working, but overall it's still a really good figure, and even then, if I put the... I'll probably say this again in the video, but if you put this on here, it's going to end up locking that in. But I'm going to leave it as it is for now, because I'm going to highlight the absolute most difficult part of this figure, and it's this right here. The waist crotch guard. I just folded that out very, very easily, and when I push this up, it's actually completely back to normal. I could put the fusion cannon on the arm and call it a day. However, if you noticed at the start of this just little clip of the video, I did not have them closed all the way. I had them about, and I gotta be careful about doing this, because I'm scared to do it all the way. I did it about like this. So, the reason why I'm not shutting that all the way, and I left it like this, and it worked totally fine for the transformation. It may have gave clearance issues down the way, but you guys will see what it looks like at the end of this. It's the same transformation, I'm just doing the reverse for the video. This right here, these two on my copy are so tight that my finger got hurt yesterday. You can actually see a little bit of an indent there, I believe. I don't know if it's really showing. It's okay if it isn't. But I'm going to tell you now, for like 6 hours, the tip of my finger was sore when I tried to pry these off. And not off, just open. If it gets shut, they are shut tight. It got so bad that both of them, I tried doing a little bit of clearance issue, and I don't know if you can see it there, but I ended up scratching my copy pretty bad. Like, really bad. Or I guess not all the way, but there is some noticeable scratches there I'm going to have to try to buff later whenever I actually get time to do it. I'm probably going to be mostly showing this figure in gun mode rather than robot mode, so it probably won't matter in the long run. But I really wanted to identify and stress that, like, if you close those, it is really, really difficult to open it without having some sort of parts separator. I don't have nails that well, so that didn't help either, but even then, I feel like I would have broke a damn nail. That is like the only true solid part of this figure, besides the figure as itself being pretty solid as a whole. That leg being loose, honestly, I'm not shaking it too hard. It's not loose at all. I'm not calling it loose. Very, very sturdy figure. So sturdy, in fact, that again, kind of hurts like hell to get these waist flaps open. So I do not recommend, unless you guys have just a looser copy on these axles, that you don't try it. But hey, you do you, and I wish you the best of luck on it. Alright, let's debut the first process of me ever trying to do this. This is going to be me trying to do a transformation for the camera. So let's start by removing all the pieces we can remove that might get in the way for the transformation. I don't believe removing these parts is required, but I'm telling you it will help in the long run. I'm going to even remove the tip just to show that I can put the thing on it later, and I'll put it back on after the transformation. So, I don't have the instructions in front of me, and that's going to be part of the challenge. I've only done this transformation twice, and we're going to go through and do it together. So the first thing it recommends doing, from memory, is opening the back here and hiding away the head. But to do that, you have to dislodge the arms like... It feels like you're going to break it. but I promise you, you won't if you do it right. Pull out like that, and you'll see this unhinge here. The left arm has the same locking mechanism. And it is a pain in the ass to get those little prongs back in there, but it is possible, as you can see. The hands now do this, and the body will now completely rise up. Now you do this, hide the head in there. The head's going to be a little bit of a pain to get out of there later. I'll demonstrate that now. When you lift back up, it doesn't want to give that much clearance, so you're going to have to mess with it. I'm not going to mess with it right now, because I'm just trying to continue on with the transformation, but it is possible to get popped out. Go around to the gun barrel, pop it like so. You can rotate it. It's on a little tiny swivel. Get the lower part, flip it up, and lock it into place with that. Then lower it, angle it to where it will do. Why will you not move? Oh, I see why. I thought I did. Oh, you gotta pull it out. You gotta extend it backwards. My apologies. Rotate it and lock it right in there. You now have the front of the gun. Continuing on, we're gonna rotate, take the skirt, bring it out like this. Don't know if I'm going to show that clip yet or if I already have in this video, but do not close these skirts all the way. If you feel any resistance when you get to about right there, if you feel that, do not close these all the way. I'm really recommending it now. So we're going to close them, again, not all the way, just for my personal copy. Come to the back, unfold these, they do not tab in, so they should come out pretty easily. Excuse me. And rotate them out like this. Then we're going to flip up his little tail trigger. And now we're going to have a weird starfish. Come back to the front. We're going to do the arms. Rotate this. Look here. Once we do that, we're going to pop this up. The forearm comes out to some degree. Doesn't untab. Very hard. Then we're going to take the forearm right here. It is not tabbed in here, that just sets in there to lock it in. We're going to find a way to rotate it around as such. Give me one moment, having a bit of trouble with it. It's okay to run it around the other way. Again, the plastic helps with that because of what type it is. And fold the hand down and turn it around. Now we'll come up to the forearm up here, open it up. And when we rotate that, you'll notice you have the back of the gun. And you might say, well, it's clearly facing the front of the gun. We'll get to that in a moment. We're going to go back to the other arm and basically repeat the same process. Open it up. This side's a little looser. That's okay. Open this up. Rotate this out. And bring the trigger there. Or not the trigger, the firing pin. Or part of it, anyway. Same thing with this rotation. One of these is always more going to be slightly givey than others. Rotate it out there. So now we have the back of the gun. And clearly we need to bring these together. Well, the figure is designed to do that. Once we flip up the trigger guard. By the way, for any gun nuts watching this, if I'm getting names wrong, I do apologize. I think I'm getting them right. Bring this up to where the arm, and this is going to be a little hard to get over this clearance. Once you do, snap it around. The arms meet and form. Once connected, give me one moment to connect. Everything should pop in here. Oh, I forgot to turn the hand all the way around. Everything here will eventually bring this down. The back of the gun. And this will, and I'm just going to show this now, slide in like that. We're not there yet though, because we have to finish the bottom part of the weapon. So turning the trigger base around, give me a moment to flatten it out and do so. Once we get the trigger facing the front, we now realize, well, actually you won't realize this till after the transformation's done. Oh no, you will, the grips are backwards. So we have to turn not the trigger, the little black piece right here, all the way around. At this point, we now have this part flat, so we actually can tab this now. I just had to rotate it around first. Once we get that part resting there and in, we can go ahead and go to the front. rotate these to the back, they will be like that by the end of it. Now the legs are going to be a bit of a challenge, so what you want to do is bring them down. Wait, no, hold on. Down and around is what you want, but before you do that, I recommend keeping them up, like so, and rotating them out like this, to where the front of the thighs are covering the little line there. Because now when you bring them down and around, the holes will be facing the back. I really recommend you do that step, because it's going to help later on. And we can move on to the next part. We have a gun Gerwalk mode. In about 3 seconds. The gun walk mode. Let's get his actual thing. Hold on. Go down. Alrighty, that's about as good as it's gonna be. But it's funny in theory. Pause for a Pepsi drink. Alright, continuing on. Some stuff is untabbing. That will happen a lot during this transformation, but once you get it down after a few times, it will happen less and less, I promise. It's mainly happening here because I'm trying to go through very meticulously to get it. We're going to untab this gray piece right here. It pops out just like so and rotate it to the back, and you want to close down and around right here. Do it for the other one as well. Just a heads up, the legs are practically mirrored completely. So everything I do to one, do to the other. You'll see there's an interesting mechanism right here on the inside that allows the leg to slide up and down. We have to now come back to the other side and untab it as well. Once we do so, give it a minute, it'll rotate out. You'll see there is over here the front of the leg that can actually go down. Now it's going to get in the way of that mechanism, but I assure you if you adjust it enough, you'll get it flat enough to where you can kind of get it. Then rotate it some more, get it, and again the plastic gives you enough give to where you can kind of push it up and over, and there we go, we got it. Then we come over here to the other side, do it again, untab, come around, close, got it at a bad angle, let me close it. Okay, now for both legs, if you're doing it like me, doing both one and then the other, there's a little gray piece in here. Flick that out, as that's going to be part of the back of the gun. It'll be very needed here shortly. Now that we have that all situated, we're going to go ahead and just doing some minor adjustments to make sure I got this ready for whenever I get it ready, or get it done. Now we're going to straighten the legs. We're going to use that mechanism to slide the entire base of the leg up, and the back to go along with it. Once you have that part down, it should look like this, but up here. So I'm going to show you again, because I don't think I got it right the first time, but I thought I did. You need the gun mode to come up to there. So, okay, everything's kind of going with it. This is... Oh, come on, cooperate. I know you want to get it done now. So the legs are the trickiest part. I'm going to make that very clear. Not going to rate the figure bad for that at all, because again, this is entirely, and I figured this out during the live stream where I did this, entirely a skill issue. I'm just trying to get everything to pop into the right place. Oh, did I have that wrong? Oh, I did have that wrong. No, I didn't. I don't know. Hold on. Give me like 2 seconds to figure out where is currently going wrong. I'm just going to do this here. Cut to when I got it. Alright, so I didn't get it completely fixed, however I just wanted to go ahead and show the proper gun mode one more time. There's footage I've recorded enough of the proper gun mode to show what it looks like after this. So, this is the transformation completely finished. To some degree, the other side is still having trouble locking in. It's really good to get specifics with it. We're doing one last more size comparison. Again, this is what a Walther P38 looks like, however is not the size. for side comparison time, and I made this joke / actual real size comparison in the recording of the unboxing for this video. Instead of having, a Walther P38, I sadly don't have one. That'd be awesome. I do have an Airweight Smith & Wesson 38 Special Plus P, real handgun, size comparison, not quite, if I set it down, the size it needs to be an actual handgun. Of course, that firearm was unloaded, by the way, but continuing on, this is what the gun mode looks like. Still a really nice gun mode overall. And that is that. Laid out in front of you here is everything that the figure comes with. It comes with everything you need to make the extended barrel, as well as the scope and stock, as well as 2 faces extra. One is already on the gun mode itself, which will be transforming soon and showing what that looks like, as well as the tip of the gun barrel here. To do the extended stock, you cannot have the tip of the gun on it. That is completely okay. Let me go ahead and show you how to actually equip the accessories on it. So first off, I've set aside the extended barrel and actually taken it apart. To put it together, you do as follows. Take the really, really long piece and put it in the really fat piece. There's a specific integration to where it goes through, and it meets like that. And then you take the tip of the barrel, do the same thing. They have a similar locking mechanism to where you push it in. That one takes a little bit more effort. Get straight. You now have the extended barrel. Before I continue on, though, I would like to show you something really interesting I learned. If we take the 2 faces you currently don't have equipped to the figure and push them together, they lock together like so. Don't think that was an intended design feature, but we're going to continue. Take the tip of the gun Megatron mode off, because you can't put the extended barrel on it anyway. And something that's not an intended feature, and it does show a little bit, but it has some neat give, is if you take off the fat bottom part of this and leave it like this, both this and this will fit inside here. If we close that up, it doesn't rattle. Sometimes it will, depending on how you have it. Hides it perfectly, and this is one of the best features of having the one with less accessories, is that it stores in the gun mode. I don't believe this was an intended feature, once again. We're going to go ahead and equip the long barrel to the gun, and I'll show you something else about this. So if we go ahead and put this on, just slide it up like so, point this down, it's supposed to go all the way on, and to do that, that's going to cause the accessories to give a little bit of trouble. So if you push it on a little further, that ends up happening. That's actually as far as it goes, though. It doesn't go on the entire gun, and if you're okay with that showing, again, you can hide all of the accessories, and it doesn't seem to break it out of every time I've done this. To put the scope on, grab the scope, you see, just as like the robot mode, you stick it on there sideways, and you twist it. And there you go, you have that. For the stock, you want to find the 2 slants with the figure stand part of it going up, and just slide it on there like so. And it locks in, we push the grip back on, and you have the completed gun mode Megatron. For those of you watching at home, this is actually the first part of the video I'm recording, but it's at the end of the video. The reason why is because this is probably the most accurate I've had the gun mode looking since getting the figure. Everything about it looks really good, everything fits really tightly. Sometimes there's a little give. For example, the handle grip doesn't actually really like snapping in that well, and even when adjusting that, I bumped the scope. Right here, there's a part where the grip, or not the grip, the rail system actually slides. It goes like this to get it to connect part of the arm. And it's supposed to pop into the top of the gun right here. For this, how I have it, doesn't really want to pop all the way down, so there usually is a bit of slide giveaway, but it does go pretty, tap my Dragon Ball there, it goes pretty straight. Everything goes really well. It's very solid, incredibly solid. Doesn't want to come apart. If I push on the wrong side of the paneling, though, it can. Again, doesn't fit full grip, but that is okay, because if you're holding like this, you're not going to really pay attention to that anyway. So everything actually works really well, with, again, a little bit of give here and there. One last thing about the figure itself is that the fact that the gun mode does not have, or the robot mode does not have a Decepticon emblem. Magic Square for like $5 to $10, can't remember off the top of my head, has a sheet of stickers you can get right here. They sell metallic gloss with the white border, without. They even got the what looks to be the original Megatron toy on the back. You can put them all over and also on other figures, and they send you plenty and plenty of different sizes. This is a very good pickup if you're planning on getting this figure and having me look accurate. I'm also going to have some to put on my Jinbao Optimus Nemesis, so that'll be pretty good. There are also some sticker sheets you can get to upgrade this figure too. I specifically bought this one though because it didn't come with any stickers. They usually don't. But it's also one of the least painted versions because I plan on transforming it back and forth a lot as long as this doesn't keep happening with it overall. So I'm going to go ahead and say my overall thoughts on the figure. If I were to rate this out of 10, I would definitely rate this... I'm trying not to be biased here because of the skill issue. You know what? I'm going to say a 7. This is probably one of the best G1 Megatrons I've seen. But then again, this is the only one I've ever actually held for this kind of model, so I do like it. There's again some of that bit of the clearance issues I need to work on, trying to figure out how I can get better with that. But I've had it more solid because you'll see after, or a little bit before this, there was a point in this video where it did look solid, and that was before I transformed it back into a robot. So I'm probably going to only transform this once to finish up this version of the transformation. By the way, I had to slip up the slide skirts all the way through because I didn't realize that was actually a main step I was forgetting before. So basically, once I get it back into the proper gun mode and get that there, I'm never untransforming this, or it's going to be very rare that I do. So yeah, not looking forward to that, but also I really am because I do like the transformation, but again, those clearance issues, I need to figure out how to fix that because it's getting a bit tedious. So overall, 7 out of 10. If the transformation issues I did not have whatsoever, honestly, this would be getting an 8 or a 9. I don't know what would make this a 10 out of 10. You know what? I do know what would make this a 10 out of 10. Proper size. If I could actually hold this, the trigger doesn't even need to be spring-loaded. This one is not. I never said that earlier in the video. Trigger's not spring-loaded. Because, I mean, well, you can't be holding this unless you're a toddler anyway. If this was proper size, like I think Masterpiece is, if this was any bit bigger, this exact mold, everything else that comes with it, I could even give this a 10 out of 10. I really do like it. Maybe the trigger, where the place in the back was, makes it a 9 out of 10. That did look a little weird. But I don't know. It looks good for what it is. It displays really well. I really like it. I like it in gun mode. I like it in robot mode. So in spirit, 10 out of 10, but in reality, I'm going to give it a 7. So yeah, that's what I think of the Magic Square Doomsday, basically Megatron, and I will have to see y'all in the next one. If you have one you'd like to recommend, as long as it's within a decent price range, I don't see a problem actually doing that if y'all have any ideas. But I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Have a good day. Or night, depending on whenever you're watching this. Bye. Hey, it's me from the future, going back after editing. The only thing that I wanted to add real quick, still going through editing the video right now, but I really wanted to add, besides the skirt issue, I'm still leaving it at 7 out of 10 because I don't know if it's just my copy, but that skirt issue is a problem. But I figured out the leg problem. I got it completely retransformed back into gun mode. The clearance issues have been kind of fixed, and I see what to do moving forward. Moving on forward, I'll definitely try and make sure I leave, I would say actually have the instructions with me, so leave those out, and make sure one by one I'm going through. Basically, I had the wrong, the knees and stuff rotated at the wrong way, or not the knees, but the thighs up there kind of rotated around, so they didn't have much room to close, but I got it perfectly solid, completely perfectly solid, nothing's popping out, even upon squeezing the middle. It does have, still again, some issues, like I said, that, skirt being the way it is a bit of a drag, but hey, honestly though, I've already put it back into gun mode after turning it back into a robot at least once, and yeah, it's mainly any issue I had was a skill issue. Besides the skirt though, I will stand on that forever. That was way too tight. Anyways, y'all have a good day and or night. Bye.